What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mackenzie, and if you're not new, thank you for coming back. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a little more than making curtains. So I know I said in my last video I was going to be making curtains today, but like I said, it's really quick, it's really easy, so I want to do a little bit more than that. Of course, I'm going to keep how to make curtains in here, but I'm actually redoing this whole sunroom, so I figured I would take you guys with me along for the ride, show you everything I painted, everything I changed, hung, whatever. So if you're just interested in how I make the easy curtains, I'll leave timestamps down below so you can skip ahead. And if everything else sounds interesting, let's go. So obviously I've got quite a bit of work to do. There's no carpet in here yet, no real curtains, there's kind of just stuff everywhere since we just moved. But I've been collecting the bits and pieces that I do want to put in here, so hopefully by the time we're done with this video, it's gonna be looking beautiful. So here's my inspiration. I want the fireplace to match this one. So hopefully by the end, we can get this tan, ugly orange one to look the same. So I got a really light gray, medium, and a super dark gray. I think I'm gonna cover the whole thing with the really light one first, and then just go in to the darker ones where I want to. I think that's a good plan because it's a lot easier, obviously, to go over light paint with dark paint than it is vice versa. So I'm gonna cap these other two up. Obviously my poison ivy is still extremely itchy. So I'm gonna cap the other two up and see how far this light gray gets me. Okay, so this part actually took me quite a while to finish. This whole room took me a few days, but just painting this fireplace took probably a whole day to complete because there are so many little indents and textures on this fireplace. I pretty much had to stipple the entire thing, so just going once over with a paintbrush or obviously a roller would not work. So I had to go in with a very small brush, paint as much as I could once over, and then go in with an even smaller stipple brush to get into all those little cracks and crevices that were in there. Then once I did the whole fireplace in that light gray, I could go in with the darker shade. So I was going kind of back and forth between this dark gray and the medium shade of gray, kind of just randomly selecting bricks to give it a randomized look. So now what I'm doing is just prepping the fireplace. I removed everything off the top and the bottom because I'm gonna go in to do the black trim. So the trim on this fireplace was already black, but it wasn't matte black, and I wanted it matte to match the rest of everything else in this room and match the rest of the fireplace. So I'm going in, obviously just laid down a nice craft paper so I could do those bottom edges, and I'm touching up any areas that I overlapped with the gray and just going once over the entire area of black with a matte black. Like I had mentioned earlier, I want this fireplace to match the one in the front. So now I'm going to go in with a glitter spray paint. So it's a silver based glitter spray paint, and I'm just hitting those outside edges and giving the front facing fireplace a light dusting. So I have these two pillars here, and I've never really liked the way that they look. I think it's just because they're gray. So obviously I prepped them first by just lightly sanding the entire thing, wiping it down with a damp face cloth, and now I'm painting it the same exact matte black that's on the fireplace. So those two pillars that are going to be in the corner of the room will match and tie in together with that fireplace. Okay guys, time for curtains. So, I've already measured, actually I haven't measured this window yet, so I'll show you guys how I do that. What I'm gonna do is hanging drapes on the side of this window in black. And then for this big window, I'm gonna do silver on the outside and black in the center. So I can have one hanging in the center and two on the side. Because I wanna be able to easily close off this window, but I don't wanna put blinds on this window. One, I don't wanna screw it into the wood trim. And two, I just don't like how blinds look all the time. I'm not a fan of huge blinds like that. I'm already gonna have to do vertical blinds on the sliding glass door. Anyway, getting off topic per usual. So, I've got my fabric. What I need to do now is go around and measure to see what I'm gonna need. So I'll show you how I'm gonna do that for this window right here. I've already done the big window. The most important thing is figuring out how long and wide you want your curtains to be. 42 inches long. So 42 inches long is just for the facing fabric itself. So you need to allow room for your seam allowance and mistakes you might make. So don't get just 42 inches of fabric because you're gonna need a lot more than that. So I'm saying an inch for the top, an inch for the bottom. That leaves me at 44 inches long. Now, how wide you want your curtains is up to you. How much fabric do you want to have bunched up on the side, or do you want to be able to obviously close it all the way? So at a minimum, if I went halfway across, it's at 38-ish inches. So I need 19 at a minimum if I didn't want any bunching. You know what I mean? So 19 is halfway. If I cut just 19, that means when I close these curtains, there's gonna be no bunching of fabric, which I kind of want. So I'm gonna add an extra few inches to that. So we're gonna call that, just to be safe, 38 inches. Since we're making two curtains, we're gonna divide 38 in half, which is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 inches. So we've got 19 inches for each side. I want to add 4 inches for bunching. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23 inches wide. So we got 23 inches wide for two panels. And we've got 44 inches long in total, allowing for our seams. So I'm going to measure this window the same way. Then we can get to cutting the fabric. Okay, so now I have two panels of about 87 inches. Now, because this fabric came in a grouping of 5 yards, which is exactly what I needed, these edges are already finished. So the only thing we have to concentrate on is folding over, making a little pocket so we have enough room to stick our curtain rod right through that hole. That's all we have to do. And if your other edge wasn't a finished seam, all you would be doing is folding it over and running a straight stitch all the way down and making that a finished edge. But like I said, this is already a finished off edge, so I don't have to do any of that. I can leave it just as it is. So, laid my fabric out, measured it to make sure it was even on both ends, so it's the same length. And I've got about 89 inches in total, which means I've got 7 extra inches to play with. Since I have so much and I have just the top to sew, I could 1, cut off quite a few inches, or 2, just fold it over and sew it into it. So what I'm going to do is finish the edge. That way when I fold over and make my curtain pocket, it's going to be a finished seam versus taking it and just sewing it like that, which you could do, it's fine. but I want it to look finished in the back as well. So I'm going to fold over about an inch because I have plenty of fabric to work with. So like I said, I'm just folding over about an inch here, and I'm gonna finish off this edge. So I'm just holding everything in place, and I'm gonna slowly stitch all the way down. I'm gonna start, reverse, and then keep going. That's gonna give me a really strong edge or end. Okay, so now I'm at my end. I'm gonna do the same thing I did when I started. Once I get close to the end, I'm gonna hit that reverse button, go back and forth a couple times just to make it a nice strong end. And that's it. Lift my foot up, cut off the seam. So, now that we have our finished seam, we can make our curtain pocket. I'm going to change the thread in my sewing machine. I'm gonna change the bobbin and the actual thread because now when I fold this over to make my curtain rod pocket, that's going to be visible, and I don't want that visible. So I'm gonna change to a silver thread really quick and make the curtain pocket. And we're good to go. Okay, so again, not doing anything fancy here. These are the easiest curtains. So I've taken, let's say even 2 inches. I know I have plenty of room. Taking another 4 inches for my rod loop. So what I'm doing simply is just taking my edge, folding it over, and all I'm gonna do is copy exactly what I did before. I'm gonna go right next to the seam I already made, and that's gonna give us our little loop to make our curtains. Super simple, super easy. The hardest part is just making sure you're keeping your fabric even. And that's it. Our first panel is done. It is as easy as that, you guys. So all we had to do was 2 passes with the sewing machine, and we've got our curtain rod done. So I paid, I think on sale, $25 for 5 yards of this fabric, and whatever I paid for the curtain rod. No matter what, that is gonna be cheaper than almost any nice curtain panel anyway. And you're gonna have to pay per panel most of the time. Sometimes they'll be like $25, $30, $35 for one curtain panel, where here you're getting 5 yards of fabric, you're gonna be able to make huge curtains and plenty of them. So, again, that's it. Our curtain rod is just gonna go right into this little pocket we just made. The back is finished. That is how you make some super easy and cheap, affordable curtains. So our first panel is done. I'm gonna get this out of the way and pull up our second. And that's panel number 2. If that's not the world's easiest curtain, guys, I don't know what is. Any level of sewer can do this. This is so easy. It's straight lines all the way down. I know if I can do it, you guys can do it. I ain't got no sewers in my family. I mean, my mom is kind of the same as me. Anything she wanted to make, she would figure out how to do it, but neither of us were professionally taught anything. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is measure my black panel to be the same size as these ones and finish sewing that one. guys, I think that's it for today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you didn't find it informational, I hope you at least found it entertaining. I absolutely love how this room turned out. There are some things I do want to change eventually. I think I mentioned it earlier, all the wood in here, I want to stain to a gray wood. I'm just not the biggest fan of this orange wood. I don't hate this orange wood, but it's not my style for sure. I'm more of a cool toned type of gal. But anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. I will link everything I can down below. So my sewing machine, any fabric I used, if it's still in stock and I can still find it, stuff like that. And if you want to check out my stained glass work and my stained glass business, my social media and my online shop will be linked down below too. And if not, I'll see you next time. Bye. Just kidding, one more thing. So, do you see those lovely flowers up there? Those dried flowers? If you want to see how those are made, I have a video on my channel already. Go check it out, I'll link it down below. Okay.